Hey everyone, Jody from Bird Dog Off Road Adventures.
What's up, guys? Evan from the Adventures of Rogers and Henderson.
It's a two-man show tonight. A lot of people are busy doing things, so Evan and I are just going to hang out and talk, and you guys can listen, join along. A lot of people are busy doing things, so if you, sorry, I had another volume on. If you have any questions or comments on here, just let us know. We'd be happy to answer anything we can. But in the meantime, we'll just kind of get started, man. What's been up with you, Evan?
Not a damn thing, man. It's cold as hell here.
Oh, I bet, man. I do not miss those days in the frigid tundra of Chicago.
Yeah, it's currently, as right now as we speak, it is -2. Feels like -14.
Ooh.
When I woke up this morning and started my Bronco to go to my work truck, it was -11 with a real feel of -24.
Wow. Yeah, I don't envy you at all. So I think it's cold here because, when you've been in 107, 110 degrees above all summer and it gets to be like a modest temperature, it feels cold as hell.
Right.
Yeah, because our high here is like in the mid 60s right now and our lows are in the mid 30s. So mornings and nights are typically chilly. The afternoons are comfortable, except today. Today felt really chilly. So I think we got one day next week the highs only in the 50s, but oh well. It is what it is.
I think we'll be back in the 50s next week. That's the crazy part.
Yeah, must be the jet stream or the whatever, the flow.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes that'll dictate a lot.
Any weather YouTubers? Just curious.
Yeah.
No.
So you guys went to Badlands here recently, correct?
New Year's Day we were at Badlands. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Anything fun happened there?
That guy broke that stock wild track that had 2,000 miles on it.
That's weird because I was coming back from the dog park Sunday here, and there was a wild track sitting in the middle of the street. It was parked in the middle of the street with two police cars behind it, and then a flatbed pulled up. He went around me to get in front of it so he could load it up. It looked like it was brand new, and the guy was standing there. I didn't like have any mods on it, but I don't know what the hell happened to it. But I was just like, that's not good.
Well, it was definitely a defective piece of metal in the axle.
Yeah.
There's no reason that it should have broke there. Of all places, it shouldn't have. What's up, Rob?
Yeah. Say, Rob.
One thing since the last episode is I did go test drive that Raptor R.
Oh, yes.
That was badass.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of you. That looked like it was fun as hell.
So, I mean, the hard part about that, right, is you test drive it and then, like, you really want it.
Yeah.
And then trying to talk yourself out of it because, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it was a beautiful truck. It was cold here, so, but, it would you give it half throttle and it would rip those tires loose through third gear, just giving it half throttle, just sliding. And I didn't put it in sport mode. That was just in normal mode. It was sound, it whines. It has the whine to it, like what the 03, the Mustang Cobras, the Terminators had.
Yeah.
Overhead cam supercharged engine they had in 2003, 2004. It had a very similar tone to that. It sounded phenomenal.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just like it's one of those trucks you see, or if I can only imagine driving it, but you see it and you're just like, oh man, why wasn't I born rich?
Right.
Yeah, you still got both kidneys, right?
I do.
All right, just want to make sure you.
I was going to start selling her underwear online. She didn't.
Oh, I'm sure that went over well.
So, but like the cool part about it was, like, I've never been in. I did drive the first gen Raptor that had the 6.2 in it. I did drive one of those. A customer let me drive theirs because they lost a bet. But the handling on this one, the truck is so much wider. The new Raptors, I think they're on the third gen of them, right? Compared to what 12 they came out.
Yeah, at least the third gen at minimum. I don't know if they've been fourth gen or not.
So the new versions though are wider than what those first gens were, and the handling, it's really hard to explain. It feels like it has a lot of body roll at lower speeds, like on street driving, it feels like it. Like it thinks that makes you think that, but it still feels in control. So I would really love the chance to rip one of those things like out on some dunes or whatever, and just, I mean, it's got a lot of weight to it, but it has more than enough power to overcome the weight. It was an interesting, like it was a whole different feel than what driving the Bronco is for sure.
Oh, I bet even the Bronco Raptor, I'm sure, didn't even compare.
Right. Well, I mean, I drove Dave's Bronco Raptor, and it didn't feel like that either. Dave's Bronco just felt like a faster version of my Bronco, honestly.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets getting rid of that?
Not that he would admit to. I'd regret it.
Oh, I would too. It has to be a fun vehicle to drive. Yeah. So yeah, nothing much going on here. Our friend Alex, 904 Bronco, I think is his username off of Instagram. He gets here this week. He's moving here to Phoenix area from Florida. So he and I and maybe another friend or two, we're all gonna hit the trail. One of the trails here this weekend. Other than that, it's just everything's going to be leading up to United by Bronco, hanging out there.
They did have you made it to one of the Byron events here, right? You did the summer one.
Don't you remember? You were like trying to.
Oh yeah, I did hang on yours. And Courtney thought you were going to tip into that tree.
Yeah.
So they're finally got their they've been wanting to do a winter one, and the one year they planned it like a month in advance, and then that weekend we had a hot front come in and it melted all this snow, so it became real soupy. Yeah. And so they couldn't pull it off. Well, this year they scheduled it with like 2 weeks notice, and it landed on Courtney and Eddie's birthday. So I'm like, yeah. But supposedly they added some sections to the hard trail that make it a lot more fun. So I'm curious what those are. But that was all off-road related going on here.
Yeah, I remember when I still lived there. That was the year I think you're talking about, because they had it scheduled, then they rescheduled it, and they had then they just had them having to cancel it because the third time.
Yeah,
the weather would warm up just at the most inopportune moment.
Right. So I've missed three of their events now because the summer one they decided to schedule on Father's Day weekend, which also coincided with one of Ethan's travel ball tournaments, which we skipped it and ended up working out because they won first place in that tournament. And then the fall crawl was like the weekend that we got back from Rubicon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm off-roaded out for a weekend. So
that's the thing too with me is I don't know. I think you may have talked about this offline, but after the Rubicon, I felt kind of like, I'm fine taking a break for a while. I mean, I did some of the trails with the Arizona Club here in December for the toy drive, but I've not really been doing a whole lot of wheeling since then. It's just, I don't know. It's just like it's so intense, and it's just like, and plus, too, it's kind of hard to compare to that, with anything we have down here. And I'm sure you probably feel the same way up there because Badlands.
Well, that was the thing. Like, we went to the Badlands for Friendsgiving after that, and it's like, okay, well, I've seen all this times, and then it's like the joy from it is basically helping the other people. You know what I mean? Like, because we do a lot of spotting and guiding and stuff, and like that part is still fun. But for me, for like, oh, this climb, I've done this climb, or this one, I've done this like a lot, and so I don't know. It's like without, and the other part too, right, is like the build up to the Rubicon. Like we spent how many months planning and making sure that we were ready, money.
So like, a lot of money too.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's a crappy comparison, but right, like people that they do mountain climbing and then they're like, all right, we're gonna do Everest, right? Like,
yeah.
And then you do it and you succeed, and then what the fuck do you do after you do Everest, right? So, like, so that was a dangerous thought process after that. Is okay, well, we've done that. Now, what's the hardest one? The harder one after that, and then you come to an option like Fordyce, right? And you're like, okay, but Fordyce is a big deal. Like that's a problem.
So opportunity for body damage too, though.
Well, right, and you're doing that the same distance from home as what the Rubicon is, if not further,
Yeah.
right? So
I'm kind of like you though. I don't want to do that dirty Ursham. Is that how you pronounce it?
Ducey, yeah.
Ducey Ursham. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ducey Ursham. That one looks like that would be fun.
Yeah.
Rubicon-esque.
Right.
But I thought about that too, and I was like, I don't know. I just don't think that I necessarily have to keep doing harder and harder and harder. Because I was so damn scared that I was going to break something out there, and I was going to have to pay out a shitload of money to get it fixed. Because obviously I didn't have all my tools out there with me since it's so far away from home. And then I was like, okay, well maybe this thing isn't going to break every time I take it off road. But now I'm just like, here, most of the trail, there's some hard trails here, but not that hard, not that level. At least not that I've seen. Maybe Lower Terminator, but there I think that's like buggy territory.
Right.
I've seen videos with people in Jeeps and some of these little jacked up Toyotas on it, but it's like the lines look like they're either really hard or not really hard. So, and I don't think it's like that back to back obstacle like we had out at the Rubicon, but we'll see. Because
otherwise your option, like for you, if you need something that's a challenge, but maybe not necessarily like technically difficult, right? Is like what Trail Recon just did. They did that 1,000-mile Arizona loop, but that's just for distance. It's difficult because of the distance and the mileage, not difficult because of like the terrain. So I don't
I've been talking to some friends down here, and we thought about. I thought, that's something I wouldn't mind doing. Now, obviously, I wouldn't want to do the whole thing at once. I would break it up. Right. Okay, well, maybe we'll do a long weekend and knock out maybe a third or a fourth of that, and then a couple months later, maybe do the second quarter of it or whatever.
Right.
But I've also been looking at a lot of videos of Enzo Borrega, I think's the name of it. It's at state park down near. I think it's down near San Diego. Or I think it's outside of Palm Springs, but it looks pretty cool. That's the one that has all those metal dragons and roosters and shit that are like 30 feet tall.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff down there on the California side for sure.
Yeah, and of course, if you watch Trail Recon, or not Trail Recon, but Trail Militia, some of those trails, those guys hit a lot are in that Southern California area, like John Bull.
Right.
There is an event, I think last year it was early June. I haven't seen them set a date this year, but the last 2 years it's been like early June. It's called Big Bear Bash.
Yeah.
And
run by SoCal Broncos, right?
Yeah, and it's those trails right there, the area. That's not far from where King of the Hammers is too, from what I see on the map. Obviously, I've not been to that specific area, but just looking at it on the map, and kind of mapping it out, I've noticed that it's kind of close to that.
It's close, but still 8 hours away. What up, Scott?
There's Scott. Your ears burning early, buddy? Talked about you in a good way. Nothing but positive vibes.
Yeah, we'll have to get you on, Scott, to talk about your new hardtop if you're interested.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of guests that we've had are with the Armadillo. Yeah, I'd be honest with you. Of course, I'm not in the market to buy one right now, and I've got other things I need to buy. But definitely, if I was buying a new hardtop right now, an Armadillo would probably be the one I'd go with, just because. Nothing against the Anderson Composites hardtop. I like the top, and I've talked to Zach, the guy out there, a lot, and he's really nice and really cool. And every time I see them, they're always real nice and friendly, and they back up their product. I saw them at SEMA, and so they're a very good company, and they definitely make a good product. I just think for what we do, as far as storage optimization, and modularity, as far as like, being able to add the wings with the mollies and all that stuff. I definitely think that that would be one I would probably strongly consider if I was doing it over again. Right. Yeah, I totally agree, Scott. I mean, you got basically 3 options right now. They have that one rally one that's real cheap that looks like a camper top off the back of a pickup truck. I don't really like it, but if somebody was really, I guess, in a top budget, that might be an option for them. I mean, there's really only 3 decent options, unless you count the factory Mick, is like the Turn Off Road and the Anderson Composites and the Armadillo top. And I think all three have distinct differences and different purposes, so to speak. If you want the modularity of a factory top, but you want a little bit better noise cancellation, then go with Anderson. If you want a quieter ride, but you don't necessarily need all the functionality of an Armadillo, probably be better going the turn off road. But if you're like really looking for functionality and being able to think outside the box with how you could use it, I think Armadillo is by far the hands down choice because of the modularity. And from what I understand from talking to Derek and Monica, it's by far probably the quietest option too. Scott, you can chime in on that if you want to, but that's what I've been told. Because no, Scott used to have the factory top since this is a Raptor. Different locations. Yeah. Mr. G, are you talking about what we were talking about a few minutes ago, the trails, or is that something different? Oh, I bet, Scott. I mean, it's like, some of us, myself, we've been added those braces to add rigidity, but that Armadillo top, I'm sure even does it even more so because it's stronger and it holds it together. Level challenge is almost significant in different locations. Yeah.
What up, bro?
So, yeah, Mr. G, where are you? I'm sorry if I don't recognize you. I may know you on Instagram or something, but I'm not sure what part of the country you're in.
Chicago.
Chicago. Ah, cool. So sweet.
Mike Jones.
Oh, that's Mike. Oh, cool. Mr. Jones. Hadn't seen you in a while. Hopefully see you at Bronco Palooza this year, buddy. Maybe we can get Scott up there. We had Nate up there last year when he got his new hard top. Maybe we can get Scott up there next year so we can show off, then go out to the Badlands and beat up on that Raptor a little bit.
And to Silver Lake.
Yeah, Silver Lake too. Hell, if you want to do the both of them, we're 2 weeks apart from the Bronco takeover.
Well, I was saying it's not going to be official, but for anybody who wants to go out and do Silver Lake on the Monday, Bronco Palooza. So Saturday, Ham Block, Sunday, Badlands, Monday, Silver Lake. I'm not going to be official, but for anybody who's making the trek.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, it's probably a good thing because I doubt it's very crowded on Monday.
Right. Get a little extra bang for the buck going.
Yeah. I love it. I don't know if I'll ever get a chance to hit Glamis out here, but of course the Cinder Hills, it was kind of like a dune, but not quite. I mean, that's actual rock. You can beat the shit out of your car if you're careful. You better hit me up if you come to UBB, man. I'd love to meet you and talk to you. Maybe you can go out for grab a bite of lunch or something in between runs or something. I don't know what trails you're on, but I know that's the thing about the United Bronco. I don't know if it's just because it's grown in popularity or they've had to kind of tighten down because so many people were doing trails that they didn't sign up for. But this year the trails signed up or filled up quick because I registered for the event itself the first day it came open, and within a week, all the first or the A runs or whatever they call them, almost all of them were gone. So I had to go on a lot of the B groups. So I don't even know what they're doing now. I'm sure most of those are all filled up too. But I signed up to run with Derek and Monica at Torkerville. They call it Blancoville Falls. That'll be fun. Scott, yeah, if you make it out there, man, I'd love to see you. We'll go wing on trails. Yeah, that's true. You can do that too. You don't have to necessarily go on a dedicated run, especially somebody like Scott who's been there multiple times. Me being a newbie there, I'll probably just play it safe this first year. But I'd love to see you in action, buddy. I know we talked to Austin. I don't think he's not going to be there, but it'd be nice to see at least one of the cool Raptors there. Yeah, I mean that's the thing about Bronco. That's not that far of a drive from here. It's not about 4 hours. The bad thing about Bronco Palooza, that's just not in the cards for me to drive to. I'll be flying there, but it's a 3-day drive each way. That's a lot of PTO to burn. for a 2-day event. So I'll probably just fly up there and sip some martinis with Courtney while y'all get out there and get stuck. That or I could do one of your film crew. You have an additional film cameraman, maybe Courtney might want to take a break since she's basically having to carry her ass every time we go off road with all the video and filming.
Well, yeah, every time we go out, she's there and you're there, you almost run her over.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't remember doing that. She needs to just like cuss me if I get too close to her.
She does. I have all the videos of it.
I'm a great driver. What am I talking about? Grind it one day, yeah. 17 hours, that'll be a rough one. It can be done, especially, but it's going to be really rough if you have to stop and piss and get gas and eat and everything else. That makes that probably more like a 19-hour run.
That's what Mountain Dew bottles are for.
Or milk jugs. Yeah. I don't know if you got any friends in the healthcare industry. You might be able to get a catheter put in. That'd help.
There you go. More concerned about the fuel stops.
Yeah. Well, especially with that beast. I'm sure it's not going to get the best fuel mileage. Or how was it? Learn about these events. I have to plan some trips this year. Matt, I would say mainly, check out the Bronco pages on YouTube, like Trail Militia, Blanco.
Where are you located for one?
Matt? Yeah, that might be Matt, where are you located at? Because, depending on what part of the country you're in, if you're in the eastern half of the country, Bronco Supercell East, it's in outside of Pigeon Forge. It's definitely the go-to event. There's not much off-roading, but it's just, anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 Broncos. Central Ohio. So you're not far from Milton.
All right.
Yeah. So, Matt, I'll be honest with you. There's some good events down in Kentucky. If you want to check out Trail Hunter USA's YouTube page, in Milton's page, he's normally on here with us, but he's off tonight. Bareback Broncos, they do have some events there on the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway. I know there's I can't remember the name of it. It's Back the Byway, I think, to where they do like dedicated runs, but they also pick up trash and stuff to kind of help give back. And then event I went to down there is called Overland the Red. It's not Bronco specific, but it's around mid-October, and it's basically an overlanding event there at Callie's Campground, which is in the middle of that area. That's a good place to go. Might check with the Carolina Bronco groups. I hate to say it because I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, and I'll be honest with you, other than car stuff, I rarely get on there for anything else. But that's been the best hit for me, is to like get on Facebook, join all these Bronco groups. If nothing else, just for that purpose. That way, you join those groups, you check the events tab, especially the ones that are close to you, like the Ohio groups, the Kentucky groups, Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, anything that's within a decent proximity to you. And they'll put events for runs most of the time. That's how Evan and I did it in Chicago, and Mr. G on here, when we created the Chicagoland group, hardly anybody had a Bronco, but once people started getting them, we were having car meets pretty regularly and doing trips to Evan and Courtney were taking people down to Badlands. Yeah, Bronco Nation, good recommendation, Scott. That's also another one. I know most of those are like the big events. So it depends on if you're looking for the big events, that'd be definitely a good resource. For trying to think. But for like the smaller events, Bronco 6G Forums does have pages dedicated to certain areas, but I don't know how active they are.
Right. Well, and they're hard to keep track of on there.
Yeah, I know I used to get a lot of flack for people in the Illinois and Chicagoland area because we didn't post on there. And I'm like, it's hard enough to try to keep up with Instagram accounts, Facebook accounts, multiple, and then when you go on Bronco 6G, you're mostly there just reading other stories or checking out other articles. You don't necessarily think to go in there and update the events tab every time. It can be, sometimes we only got so much bandwidth. It's hard to keep up with every.
Well, it doesn't seem like on 6G that the sub threads for localities gets a bunch of eyeballs anyway.
It doesn't. It's mainly people that don't want to get on Facebook.
Right.
So, but yeah, Matt, I hope that helps.
Unfortunately, Facebook is the best way. Like if there was a better way to organize events on Instagram or whatever, you might have more reach. But the layout on Instagram isn't set up for that.
Yeah, it's not very conducive. I mean, like we have the Chicagoland Instagram page, but to be honest with you, it's mainly just reposting, members posts that are on there, like myself and Evan and others. So, I mean, we're not putting like events and stuff on there that much other than Bronco Palooza because it's the big event that we do every year. But yeah, so hope that helps. Yeah, definitely network. Bronco Nation Live.
Reach out to John Carson.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. I think John's in those events with them, with Milton and
yeah, he's one of the founders of the Kentuckiana. I think they call it Kentuckiana Broncos or whatever, but they partner with Ohio Broncos. So John Carson, I find him on Facebook. Even if you can just shoot him a message and say, hey, if you got any events coming up, just have him shoot you a text message if you don't want to deal with Facebook too much. He pretty much runs him and Milton and Trail Hunter. They pretty much run that group, I think.
Yeah, Rob, I didn't see that on Instagram, but it was on Bronco 6G. I know because I entered Bronco Palooza in there, and I think I entered United by Bronco on it. So, Matt, if you're in the Bronco 6G forums, there is a spreadsheet. I think it's either Megan Off Road or maybe, God, my mind's blanking. Vega, the one that just had to get a new Bronco. I think one of those girls created it, but they created a post on Bronco 6G, and it's basically a spreadsheet that has every single Bronco event that people, and it's because everybody's adding stuff. Yeah, Vagabond, that's the one. Yeah. I can't remember what her real name is though, but I met her at SEMA. She's a real nice gal and huge inspiration too. She just beat back cancer. She disclosed on her Instagram page and around the same time that she wrecked her Bronco. So, speaks a lot about her personality and how grateful she is. And she's a fun gal. She likes to have a good time and nothing wrong with that. But yeah, Scott, getting back to what you posted earlier about the Bronco Nation, I totally agree. I don't know what happened there. But Jordan, I know Jordan left. I don't know if Lars officially left. I know there were rumors going around, but but the live shows, those were better. I don't know if their budget got cut, or whatever. I know that there was some kind of scaling back because at one point they had reached out to me about being one of their ambassadors. This was years ago, and Evan knows about this, but they had reached out to me back when I still lived in Chicago because of some of the work we do with the Chicagoland Broncos and promoting the Bronco and doing all these events and stuff, and about being an ambassador but that just never happened. It fell through, and they were going to have one for each region of the United States is what they told me, but it ended up not panning out because I think they started scaling back. Brittany. Yeah, that sounds right, Rob. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, that's probably a good spreadsheet to look at too. Depends on how long you want to travel too. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes we just go willing. There's not events like Evan and I did Rubicon. There wasn't really an event there. There was a weekend. Or there was an event right after that I went to, the Nevada Super Sale, but it's not part of our trip. And then you can go to places like Colorado, like Moab, Utah, and just have fun, or even like just get a couple of buddies. Sometimes it's better to do that because you don't have to wait on everybody. And, some of these big events can be quite congested. So get a friend like Scott who will make you make bad decisions.
Positive influences towards life-altering experiences.
Yeah. Just keep a good body shop on speed dial, right? I'm just kidding, Scott, man. Scott's actually he did a good video. I think it was it Chase Gentry, Scott, when y'all were at Moab not long ago? That was a pretty cool video.
Videos with Chase.
Yeah.
The first one was at Hidden Falls, right, Scott?
Okay. Oh, yeah, maybe, because that's probably where he lives at.
That was years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to go to Moab. What we need to do, Evan, is that maybe not this year, but maybe the next year, build up some PTO, take like a 2-week vacation. I'll drive up, meet you in Colorado. We'll knock out uh, Poughkeepsie Gulch and Black Bear. Then we'll head over to Moab, knock out Hell's Gate and some of those over there.
Elephant Hill.
Yeah. Maybe Red Cone. I don't know. We got all kinds of them. And then after that, we can either venture down either into Nevada or Arizona or something. Maybe do something. Just take like 2 weeks off. Too bad that I wish I worked. Oh yeah, that's because we said 7 trails in 2 days in Moab. Damn, y'all were like cooking it. Man, I bet you guys were tired as hell. Yeah, that's definitely true, Scott. I totally agree. Small groups and people who aren't new to wheeling will make it a lot easier trip, a lot faster. But let's be honest. I don't know. You all can disagree if you want to, but I don't think if you're new to off-roading, you're probably not wanting to go to some of those trails out here and the more technical trails. You probably want to start off getting to know your Bronco, doing events like Evan and Courtney do with the Chicagoland group at Badlands.
And doing off rodeo.
Yeah, off rodeo for sure. I mean, hell, I've been off roading for a while and went, and I still liked it. It was fun. The food was delicious. Ooh.
It was amazing.
Yeah, that Texas brisket, man, loved it. Yeah, I bet Scott knows what I'm talking about.
That's why I wanted Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the problem. So like when we went through Moab on the way to California, right? Is that we had so much stuff planned for the drive out that like we had like 36 hours total in Moab.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like you need a week, really. Because first runs through my veins. Feel that. Jump right on toilet with no off rodeo. Solid plan. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him. I mean, obviously it worked out for you, but that's a bold move, Scott.
Yeah, it is.
So there's like the main trails there in Moab that everybody knows about, right? But then like there's like we went to Canyon Lanes, the south end, the Needles District, whatever, and that's where Elephant Hill is. And there's 2 other trails, but those are like 6 to 8 hour trails. So, I mean, if you want to hit all these, like get all of them, because like in my case, right, it takes 3 days to get there. Well, 2 days to get there. And you want to maximize what you can do for wasting the days of driving to get out there. So like a week in Moab, at least, I would say.
Oh yeah. Especially, the thing is that I know when I went with some Toyota buddies, I think we left out like Saturday morning, got there Sunday afternoon, and we were camping on BLM property. I was sleeping in my 4Runner, which was not very comfortable. And I think some of the other guys, they were ready to come back like on Thursday. And I was like, well, no, because I had the same mindset you did. I was like, no, I drove all the way out here. I don't want to leave early. I'm tired and beat up too from bouncing on these rocks all week, but still, I want to, I don't drive 2 days out west every day. Yeah, but Matt, that doesn't count because you were probably drunk. If you're like most of us. I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't know. I was young. That's why everybody.
It is totally acceptable to drink if you are the passenger.
Yeah. I grew up in East Tennessee, and I can remember in high school, guys would get out there in his old shit boxes and just like hit the lake bottoms and just tear it up.
That is not true lately, Jody.
Yeah. I didn't like it though because I was always scared. I didn't trust anybody else's driving that much, especially in that age.
No.
Plus, like I said, they were old shit boxes. They didn't care if they beat the shit out of them or if they flipped them or whatever because they weren't out that much money. Like, But you got a $60,000 Bronco or $80, $90, $100,000 Raptor, you're probably not going to be less inclined to give it that much hell.
I like that idea, Scott. That's a good idea. Split it up. Takes a kill.
So, have you ever thought about doing that? Is it the White Rim Trail, the one that like takes multiple days to do? You have to have permits for.
I have heard of White Rim. I don't know if that's the one that takes multiple days or not. We saw.
Oh, go ahead.
We saw people. So, like when you're in Canyonlands North, you can see that trail. And I mean, you can see why it takes days, though. I don't remember the name of the trail. I looked at it, but
probably either White Rim or is there like, I think one named 7 Mile or something. I can't remember. It's been so long since I looked that up. The only time I went in that area is when we did the one that had the switchbacks.
Oh, going down?
Yeah, Schaefer Trail, I think is the name of it.
That one goes from Canyonlands down into. Yeah, that one we passed right by the trailhead for that, but we didn't.
Which I was I didn't have my dogs with me, but I was surprised that they didn't allow dogs even in cars out there. Which to me, that's a little extreme. I mean, I know people fuck things up by letting their pets do whatever, but it's a desert. I mean, there can't be any more wildlife there than there is in the Smoky Mountains or Yosemite or any of the other canyons, I would think.
And I guarantee those wild horses that run around out there take a bigger shit than your dog does.
Yeah.
I think it's more worried about what's in the what's inside it than I don't know.
I mean, there's rattlesnakes everywhere down here, so that's something about this time of year that I do like down here, where it's cooler. The snakes aren't as active, and I'm less.
I guarantee there's no snakes outside right now.
Yeah, probably not. That's not there, right?
There's nothing outside right now.
Yeah. Jeep Jamboree seems slow for me. Okay. I hate that the Bronco Safari deal happened. I know they moved it to another town. But I don't know jack shit about the town they moved it to. Some of the Arizona group people here. Potash Road, that's the name of it, I think. Yeah. Scott, that's the road. I think that attaches to Schaefer Trail, the one that has the switchbacks, I believe. Because I thought we went down Schaefer Trail and then we went to the Thelma and Louise place, because that's where the horseshoe, the canyons and river, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm pretty sure Schaefer is that switchback road that you were talking about.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think we turned off of it to go on to Potash. Yeah. Yeah, Rob, that's one. Some of the guys here in the Arizona group went to that last year. They talk like they like it, and I think a bunch of them are going back. But I don't think I've seen any videos on it, though. I don't think I've seen any content creators, at least not for the Broncos.
There's not for Broncos. There's a lot for like the buggy crowd.
Yeah.
Vernal Rocks or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So, I mean, those of you who watched my 3-year review video, we were actually there during Bronco Safari where we met Vaughn and Lauren, but that was before the 6th gen was publicly available. Fun Havers had theirs because they had their R&D agreement with Ford, but I didn't know it. We didn't know that was going on at that time. We saw a ton of the classic Broncos on a lot of those trails while we were out there off of Top of the World. And Gemini Bridges was pretty intense because it's a shelf road for the first part, and it's like we had to pass a couple of those old classic Broncos, and those damn things, I mean, literally were just like maybe an inch or two from the edge of the damn mountain.
I think Gemini Bridges is closed now.
It is. Unfortunately, it is. But it's a shame, too, because that thing was that road was so beautiful, especially after you got past all that part to where all the rock formations were at. It was very pretty. The one trail I want to do, I didn't do it last time I was there, and I can't remember the name of it. It's the one that has the boulder resting up against the cliff, and you drive under the little gap there. It's not far from Canyonlands. I can't remember the name of it, though. But there's a lot. You'll see people post pictures on Instagram and stuff a lot. So, yeah, this year.
Doing Pritchett at some point.
Yeah. Oh, Pritchett Canyon. Yeah, that would be fun. That might be one where I ride with you instead of going myself. But maybe help filming you. We give Courtney a break. We'll have her hang out in town or something that day, and I'll just go with you and film. I won't be as entertaining as her, but I'm sure she'd appreciate, especially if that trail's like I think it is. Is that the one that Brockbuster flipped on?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But that's the one. Lauren did it with a bone stock first edition.
Yeah, but not all of us could drive like Lauren Healy.
Well, and they also took every body panel off the damn thing.
Yeah, I know they bust. I remember busting the tail out of it too.
Well, I mean, everybody does that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I might just ride with you on that one. Yeah, chicken corners. I did that one there. It was pretty. I saw somebody do a video here recently. It wasn't a Bronco channel, but they did it and it was snow on the ground there, which was pretty cool.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. The thing about Moab is like, you wouldn't want to do it in the summer. I don't want to do it definitely in the fall or the spring, but not necessarily the summer because it gets hot as hell there from what I understand.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, if we were there in October and it was every bit of 95 degrees.
Oof.
I mean, it was beautiful. It was comfortable, but it was hot. Like you're running the air conditioner, but it's not like you're melting.
Yeah. It's not like Phoenix in July, huh?
No. Or your shoes melt to the asphalt.
Did you guys do the arches?
Yeah.
I thought you did. I thought I remember seeing y'all do that.
But so there's did I send you that video, Jody? There's a trail that interloops through the north end of Arches and it comes around. It combines like 4 or 5 different trails on the north side.
Huh. I don't think you did.
What did he do it in, Scott? Was it a 6G or was it an early Bronco? Three times on Prisha. That's wild.
Yeah.
That's testing fate right there. That's if you make it through the first 2 times, you say, I'm going to the third one. That's when you're pushing your luck.
Raptor. Oh, nice.
Wow.
Is he a stock Raptor, Scott, or is his outworked up any bigger tires, larger suspension, anything like that? Or I should say larger suspension, but taller suspension.
Code orange.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one year I saw a lot of videos of people doing that, driving down and backing out of the chute. Derek tells me that's pretty damn vertical. I mean, I've been on some vertical climbs in Moab and overall that one little spot there in Badlands, but that's why I'm kind of nervous. He said that you could see like the hood from the bottom of somebody's truck while they're going up it. The videos don't look that bad, but videos always hide it. So I'm a little nervous. Derek said if I wanted to, I could have him and Monica. I'd meet him and Monica over there and do the shoot with the crowd not there before the shoot portion of the event where everybody goes over there.
Just bring a bottle of VHT and gummy bear tires before you go up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's what we told Bernard to do before he did the wall.
Did he?
No, I told him to, and I don't think he did, but
yeah.
Those Rose's fender players. Escalator. Yeah, it makes sense. Those damn fender players.
I'm surprised nobody in the aftermarket has come out with flares, aftermarket flares for the Raptor. Not talking about the full fender replacement like Fiberworks and ADV has. I'm talking about kind of like they've done with the regular Bronco where you can buy the different flares that pop on and off. I know the Raptors are different, obviously, but you'd think somebody would make an aftermarket one of those that would have maybe a little better flow, especially in the rear. Or at least do something with it. Maybe do it's easy. Just keep your level. I wonder if it's Scott. You've done both. Is it kind of like doing Hell's Gate, where you just make sure you straddle the center? I think Hell's Gate would probably be harder just from what I can see on videos because Hell's Gate you have different variations of the steepness of each side. I'm colliding with a guy who is building new design. Hopefully, oh, good. We'll definitely be paying attention to your. If people are watching, Scott is 512 Raptor on Instagram. If you ain't already following him, it's worth your while. Him and Austin Raptor Roach are definitely setting the par, so to speak, when it comes to off-roading Raptor modifications.
Or just using the rigs like they're supposed to. They're top notch for getting their Broncos money's worth out of their Broncos.
Yeah, you're not just driving to the country club, right, Rob? Or right, Scott?
But when he does go to the country club, it's at triple-digit speeds, right? Right, Scott?
Yeah. Well, that'd be pretty cool. I can't wait to see what that looks like. That would be nice because that's all I kind of wanted. Because you see all those videos, they're light bright. They had their Raptor. Every time they took it on trail, it seems like they ripped the damn rear ones off. And I've seen a couple other channels where they jump them and it's the tires just pop them off in the front, and then they're flying. And I was just like, man, it seems like somebody would take advantage of that. The Fiberworks ones don't look too bad. I saw those here at the Bronco, the Arizona Bronco Roundup. Deutsch Off Road had, I think, like 2 different ones. And then the Motley Bronco, I think, had them as well. Cut up tire type material or for flare, soft enough to bend. Yeah, or even just sets higher. You know, I don't know if they'd ever do like deletes because that would look weird, especially in the rear. The way that flare is shaped in the back when it's off, it look very weird. Unless you could like paint match it or something, maybe. But even still, I think the tires are so wide, the wheel span is so wide, it would probably look funny. I wouldn't want to go any wider with fender deletes than what mine is. And even I think it looks weird sometimes. Yeah, Scott, they are nice looking. So the thing is, Evan, I don't know if you saw it in those photos I took, but they have Fiberworks makes like their regular flares, like Bronco Adventures has. They also make one that's called for the Raptors that have the little like gills looking vents on the front, but they make them that fit our Broncos too. That are called, I think it's called the Raptor Adapter or something like that, or something that fits our vehicles. It looks just like the ones that go on that they used to replace in the Raptor.
Yeah, I've seen those.
But they sort of cleaned up. The only thing is with those is if I had to go with the wide body like that, I'd definitely either do a long travel suspension to where it sets wider, or get new wheels with a lot more negative offset because I'd be afraid I'd be smacking everything with them. Fracture adapter. That's funny.
Long travel it is, Jody. Get it.
Yeah. Let's do it. As soon as my rich uncle dies. Starbucks VIP. There you go. Awesome. I tell you what, though, I mean, if money win a lottery tomorrow, I think it's the other day. I did a 2-door like you got, Evan. I'd go over to what's his name up in Utah, or at least Utah, the APG or whatever, to have him built that sumbitch and put 40s on it and call it a day.
I mean, if I had stumbled into it, so you got to find a balance. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, the Raptor is the best balance from that right from the start.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't find a better vehicle that is a jack of almost all the trades.
Yeah. Another Bronco Raptor make it a full pre-runner jump off road.
I mean, I'm still at the point where I'm not opposed to if they figure out the mapping, converting the front on mine to a solid front axle.
Yeah.
70-inch wide, 1 tons. And then, I mean, I don't – the fenders don't matter at that point because the wheels are damn near outside the body and you can stretch it forward and backward and make the wheelbase longer. And then the fenders I choose don't matter. The stock ones can stay and I can just cut the lip off the bottom, or none of that matters at that point.
Yeah. Scott, we know they do them, but do they have the computer issues figured out on that?
He does, but not for consumer consumption.
Okay. Yeah, I know he was like the first one.
He said he has mapping for the axles done and the mapping for the 7.3 figured out.
Yeah.
And you still have, technically you have GOAT modes and you have your cruise control and your CarPlay works, you know, all that shit.
Damn, sign me up.
You got to convince him to sell it to you and not just install it on his own first.
Yeah. Well,
But
you
I
know,
think
money shot.
he
Money
uses
talks.
he uses a radius arm setup, which I mean, it's not bad, but if I'm going to go through the money of converting that far and stretching it out and all that shit in between, like I want the maximum articulation out of it possible. I want a bare minimum of 3-link up front and a double triangulated 4-link in the back. Speedbar disconnect. Well, I bet it does.
So that's the thing too, is that if they made it to where you could like disconnect a stay bar or stabilize a bar and not throw like codes, I'd consider doing that and just taking mine out. Kind of like what you're doing. Because I don't think it really matters that much unless you're like.
I didn't notice a difference taking the front off in the like how it handles on the road. It definitely made a difference off road.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. If you're not wanting to spend a lot of money and you just want like maximum articulation, you might just consider getting the Vasher system.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's more than what the IFS is by default. But like, you take a look at any of these, like Off-Road Addiction in Oklahoma, they do all their own custom 4-link for the front, double triangulated 4-link for the rear. For obviously, this is for Jeeps, but like with a set of 16-inch ORIs, like that front axle can articulate like this while the rear one is doing this, and all the tires are touching where you want them to touch. Like, it's insane what you can do with them.
Sorry.
Little mathematical equation. I mean, I don't know. Because, like, you look at, like, what's that one in Moab that you have to have a permit for? Coyote Gulch or Coyote Canyon. Like, they allow, like, 25 people a year to do it or whatever. Like, you're not doing that in an IFS vehicle.
Broken Bronco Garage. Got head on.
The 4-link converter on the to figure out what your links for how long you want to stretch your axles out. Like, you can dial it up pretty easy if you have more money. And
well, if they ever just get the computer part fixed out, you just buy that piece of it and then have Ed throw you a solid axle up front. He's just working on them.
Well, that's the problem. You got to get that computer shit because I cannot deal with not having cruise control.
We're talking solid front axles, Ed.
What up?
Care to chime in?
Yes, Ed. I still want a solid front axle on mine.
Yeah.
As per conversation around the bonfire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uh-oh, Scott, you stepped in it, man.
Battle Royale.
Ed's gonna see you United by Bronco. That's so funny.
I mean, technically the Jeep copied the Bronco, right? The Bronco had it first.
Yeah.
I don't even have a front winch.
Yeah, you need to get one. I can't keep pulling your ass out.
You don't live here anymore.
Poured Evan out almost as much as I have myself. I only pulled you out one time, right? That one's that winter snow wheeling trip.
Once in the snow and once at Badlands.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about Badlands. We got a big history lesson going on here in the chat. Winter for people to get stuck. Yeah, so we can get out, especially if you got nobody with you.
Get stuck, Scott.
See, Scott, you need to go wheeling in the east, over in Kentucky, where it mud's like freaking green.
Don't do it.
Yeah. When I was in the Mountain Springs Road and the Daniel Boone Backcountry Byway, there was a part where we were driving, and this was after I'd had pretty much everything I have on it now. I had all 4 wheels locked, and I was basically crab walking. And I had to winch myself on 3 different points to get through the damn obstacle because the mud was so slick. You ain't making it through there. Unless you're like a buggy with 43s on it, you ain't making it through that without a winch. And even then, you probably have to have some momentum.
Yeah, when we did 16, I mean, we were mean, we were just winch, everything.
Yeah. I mean, out here, if you're winching, it's because you went over a rock you probably shouldn't have. Or if you got a bad spotter like I did on the Rubicon with Ed, right? Just kidding, Ed. I love you.
When did you winch? Day 2, right?
Yeah, remember that one spot? And to be honest with you, if I'd have kept trying, I might could have made it up it. But I was to that point in my mind, I was like, fuck it. I don't want a chance of breaking anything. I'll just get me up out of here. We got a lot more trail left. You know, I didn't want to deal with having to sit there and try. Plus, I didn't want to hold everybody up because all those classic Broncos kept breaking on us that day.
There you go. Come along in a tow strap.
I'm poor, so I use come along with a tow strap. Yeah.
I'm going to justify it and say that if I had a winch, I would do more stupid things because I have the trailer confidence just without the trailer.
Yeah, but a winch ain't gonna fix a broken axle.
I have a winch.
Yeah. Winch ain't gonna fix a broken axle, Evan, or busted steering rack.
Steering rack, schmearing rack.
Yeah.
You don't have to steering rack solid front axle.
Yeah. Have to get Ed show you how to use the hydro assist or whatever it's called. Buy an EV.
You want a treat?
High lift jack. I had one of those. I never used it. I was afraid. I didn't want to use it unless I had to because I was afraid I'd be one of those people you see on YouTube that's beat it or dented your door in. It slid out of your hand. Man. So, Ed, I know you're going to be at UBB. Scott, I think it's a hard maybe. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's Evan's 115-pound puppy. Oh, man, Ed, what's wrong, man? What you gonna make it?
Yeah, it's negative. -3, and our oldest is letting the dogs out to go to the bathroom.
Ooh. Yeah, that's kind of I don't want to let them be those days. I saw a video the other day when I let mine out and I felt bad for them because they were like sliding, crawling everywhere. I may do another dumb road trip for the EV. 75% is better than 0. Come on, Ed. You got to come out there and spot me and Derek, man. Are you going to be at Sturgis that weekend? It's not the same weekend, is it?
No, it's in September.
I was about to say, because I thought Sturgis was later in the year. I don't know if I'll make that this year, but that'll definitely be on one of my lists to do. It's 28 here in Texas. Well, he's not in charge anymore. You can't blame him now. God, I remember I lived in Dallas. It would have ice storms, and basically the city was shut down, which in my opinion is worse than snow because there's no traction at all.
I'm really curious to what trails they're going to do out in the Black Hills.
Yeah, I don't know much about that area. I just know they have the motorcycle event there, the Harley event.
That's about it. It's amazingly beautiful there.
Oh, I bet.
It's kind of like the terrain is kind of similar to the Rubicon, but there's buffalo.
Yeah. Is it got that granite that's really slick? Ed, you might answer that for us. Well, I don't know. Has Ed even been there before?
I mean, we went hiking there. I mean, according to Courtney, it's like from a hiking standpoint, that's got to be worth something.
I didn't know if it was that powdery granite like what we had at the Rubicon, which could make traction very difficult.
And breathing.
Yeah, no kidding. I think we probably all had sinus headaches at the end of that trip.
But our sparkly.
Large rock slick. Huh, interesting. Scott, you're closer to Austin, correct? Austin, Texas, not Austin, the other Bronco guy. Or are you? I'm trying to remember where he was at in Texas. Or no, I can't look at this.
Load.
Trying to think. Okay, that's what I thought. There's some good wheeling spot. I know that Bronco Off Rodeo. I didn't because I lived in Dallas area. It was flat as hell. I don't even know if there's any off road parks or anything up there, but that hill country area looked like it could be a pretty good place to go to. I know that was it the place that Rockbuster always goes to down there.
Tennessee Rocks.
I can't remember the name of it. I know that's where he does a lot of his R&D videos. Buddha. Yeah. Texas is a fun place to live. I'm surprised it's that cold down that far, Scott. I know it got cold in Dallas, but I didn't think Austin got that cold.
We got a foot of snow in Louisiana, dude.
Oh yeah, my high school friend Mandy lives in New Orleans, and she's posted pictures of her porch covered. That surprised me too, because Louisiana is always hot or humid as hell.
Yeah, but
I remember that. Yeah. Well, I mean, like in Mardi Gras, that's in February. When most people are down there partying. Hidden Falls. Yeah, if I ever make it back over to Texas, that was where I wanted to go, Scott, back to Texas, but there was no job opportunities there. But or else I'd have probably went back there instead of Arizona. But I'm gonna be here for at least another couple years. They got a couple inches in Tampa. Scott, why you come out here and visit me this time of year, buddy? We can hit all these trails down here. We got Backway Crown King.
Zero snow here.
Hell, our highs are still in the 60s, and it's cold for Phoenix standards. Or the Dallas called Bridgeport. Not sure how good it is. Okay. Yeah, back when I lived there, that was before I was really into the off-roading gig. I was in the middle of a break, so to speak. I did too much. I was spending most of my free time at Jerry World.
Jerry World. Yeah, they got Hidden Falls. They got Tennessee Rocks. They got Maris. They got.
Yeah. Well, Maris isn't Maris out farther west of it though.
I mean, the state is like the size of.
Well, yeah, it's like you could drive 3 days and never leave the state.
Right. Well, it's like a full day drive from Austin to Big Bend, and then you look on the map and you're like, oh, it's this far apart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Wolf Caves.
Yeah, when I was in Texas, the only driving I ever did was to Dallas to San Antonio or Dallas to Houston or Dallas to Austin. That's pretty much the only driving I ever did there.
Have a good night, Ed.
Yeah, good night, Ed, buddy. We'll holler at you later. 8 hours from my house to Big Bend. That's a good drive. Because I remember when I lived in Tennessee, it took 8 hours to go from one corner to the other, and that's a pretty wide state. From Knoxville to Memphis, I think it was 8 hours or close to that.
Bodie Joe.
So that's the thing, man. I don't know. He fit in your Bronco?
No.
Or does he have to use Courtney's?
Yeah, he only fits in Courtney's. He takes up the whole backseat.
Oh, I bet. He's a big boy. Yeah. All right. Well, anybody else got anything they want to talk about? So what it says, getting Ed. Oh, good night, Ed. Sorry. I'm not good with acronyms, Scott. Yeah. You got anything else you want to talk about? Anybody in chat? Anything they want to talk about or want us to talk about? We'll get Scott on here. We'll get Scott back on here soon. He's too good of a personality to keep off here. Maybe we can get him and Derek on the same show. Or maybe we can get Ed on here so that way they can argue over front wheel drive or IFS.
Have a moderated debate.
Yeah. No fact checking either. Make it interesting.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. All right. Well, boys and girls, I think I'm about done.
I'm on a podcast.
Yeah. Scott says he's down. All right, buddy. We'll keep your calendar open 2 weeks from tonight. We'll get you back on here. All right, people. Peace out, guys. Thank y'all for joining.
Have a good night, everybody.
Peace.